It's my first TED Talk, so excuse the excitement. Um, I still remember, I was just 9 years old. I had to convince my mom for 3 days. For 3 days to get me that one pair of sunglasses. I don't remember the brand, I guess Prada tha. So finally, after 3 days, I convinced my mom, super excited, bhagti we were going towards the store. On the left side, I see this really old man, phate purane kapde, all cold and exhausted. And then he drags himself up to me to ask for some money. अब एक पैर मेरा था शॉप के अंदर and the other one shop के बाहर, and I had to make my decision. And I don't know what went through my head, and I gave him all the money I had. And oh my God, the expression on his face, the only thing I wanted to look at for the rest of my life, endless times. People often ask that, what triggered me to start Ruhel? What was my driving force behind the work? Honestly, there was no specific turning point or nothing specifically triggered me. But that man's smile was the turning point, my inspiration to do all this work. So simply put, my motivation to help the poor is their happiness. As embarrassed I am to say this right now, I started with pinching money from my parents' wallets. But then obviously I decided that I had to ask for the funds and not steal them. One of the major pests in our society that has led me to go out of the way to help the poor is the major class difference. Me and everyone at Ruhel, we work day and night, do numerous projects, but I haven't really been able to escape the discomfort being a spectator to this disparity. All of a sudden, Robin Hood is my star, who could take all the money from the rich and give it to the poor. But that's just a euphoric world I'm talking about. I've met a lot of people in my life, like you guys. So, they have everything. They only focus on themselves, maximizing profits, only care about themselves, their families, but get so unhappy and unsatisfied with their lives. And from that, I've come to a realization that that's just not called living. That's merely existing. A life well lived is when you use your resources to uplift the miseries of others. Speaking of goals, the goals I set for myself 5 years ago had very disappointing beginnings. Except for my parents, I didn't have a single soul to help me out or even encourage me. I often got told off that this was my plan to escape from the real world because, I didn't have anything more productive to do. There were so many incidents, remember, from the time I had to go to do some research in the red light area, to visit the slums, and a couple of other troublesome areas. There were so many voices pulling me down that my struggles became even tougher. It's nothing less than a miracle that my passion stood strong and withstood all. Ruhil started by catering to very basic needs, by collecting the most minimal amounts from people. Initially, we started by giving shelter to the poor, education to the children, medical aid to the unwell. An additional thing that I wanted Ruhil to achieve was to develop this same spirit of giving in the privileged class. Ruhil has undertaken a number of donor-funded projects such as food drives, approximately 1 lakh meals delivered, ration drives, wedding food drives, clothes drive, menstruational hygiene drives, Ramadan drives. It also runs a school in the red light area of Lahore for the children of the sex workers, along with other NGOs, and is currently working on opening up a new school in Johanabad for the Christian community. A very common misconception about charity is that it can only be done with money in your pocket. But in reality, charity is all about the connection one develops with time. There's so many days when I have zero funds in my bank account. And at those times, I make sure that I'm there for them emotionally, that I'm there for them to give them the affection and acceptance their lives lack. For instance, there's this lady I know who's on her last stage of cancer and is literally counting days till her demise. As much as I want to, I can't reverse the situation. So I make sure that I'm there for her emotionally. I talk to her for hours. And one thing that I've learned from this case, and I can't emphasize enough on, that it's a huge deal for them to get even a little attention from someone from someone from a privileged class like ours. So it's that easy to make them happy. Like, itna aasan hai unko khush karna. You just talk to them. No funds, just talk to them. It's that easy to make them happy. For instance, there were times, when I got to know that they had enough money, the sex workers, for example, they had enough money to fulfill their basics, but not enough respect to feed their self-esteem. So if you truly figure out what the other person needs, there's no reason you wouldn't want to help them or be there for those people. I promise you that. So the crux of what I'm trying to tell you is that A, you will not always get the support you might need, so you have to be mentally prepared to work it up alone. And B, it doesn't start from the funds, it doesn't begin from the funds, it begins from within. It's never an easy journey, obviously. I have experienced some hilarious incidents, such as people throwing paper glasses at me because I was single-handedly managing all the drives and couldn't cater to everyone at once, from failing in my exams because often my Ramzan drives clash with my finals, and innumerable sleepless nights. It's an absolute havoc at times, but if there's one thing that I'm happy to report is that all this effort proves to be worth it every single time. You do not need to do something out of the ordinary to help someone or make an impact. All you have to do is spread happiness, and before you know it, you'll become the beacon of joy for the people around you. We don't have to wait for the stars to light up when giving back brings so much happiness that it illuminates the entire being every time. Thank you.